Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Jeff Whorley here with DJ Jules.
Hi guys.
Julian, how are you? Pleasure
good.
as always.
Good to see you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're doing first of many interviews here with DJ and myself. We wanted to start off with a little bit of a biography, a background of how things got started. The website that we should go to would be
RJMSounds, discjockeyservices.com or RJMSounds.com. That's where I have all my information and a little bit of history and some packages and some lighting effects and stuff like that. But RJMSounds.com.
Beautiful.
Way to go.
Beautiful. Julian,
yes,
DJ.
Yes, it is.
Tell me a little bit of how everything got started for you.
So my DJ career started many years ago in Cape Town, South Africa. I was around 15 I think 14, and I started DJing with, I would say, 2 turntables and a lunchbox mixer. That was the way I started. They call us pioneer DJs. My brother Raul and myself, we started messing around with some technology and stuff like that. But the real way of where I started was also through a radio station called Good Hope FM, Radio Good Hope in Cape Town. And from there, from Radio Good Hope, we had a very popular DJ named Dimitri Jagels. And he used to do the 2:30 date.
Bo Jagels?
Bo Jagels. He used to do the 2:30 date in the afternoon. I used to come home from school, and then he would always play these cool tracks, all the music, like from the UK, mostly from the UK, popular stuff. He used to do the, the fun stuff that I used to love. He used to do like songs from the 80s, like Pet Shop Boys, used to do Depeche Mode, Kylie Minogue stuff. One of my favorites was Full Figure and Galaxy, which I'm sure a lot of South Africans can relate to. So these are all the type of songs that you would play, and I would be very interested in the music. But at the same time, I had this little record from the songs on the radio.
Yep.
And from the radio to the little tape player that I had, and I would press record in the tape player, and I would record some of these the songs that he was playing, and then I would replay it back, and I was like, so cool listening to this music, and I'm like, I wanted this song, I wanted this stuff badly. So then I was in high school, and I ended up kind of taking a train down to Cape Town, and a place called Ragtime Records. And when I got to Ragtime Records, they had all these big name DJs, and all these radio DJs was all there, and I'm little Jules, and they used to throw the records out, literally throw it out.
Well, they're all licensed. So they were all guys that they're doing this as a profession.
That's right.
You're 13, 14 years old, just having fun.
Yeah, I'm a little punk just there, and I just wanted this record. So when they started throwing it out, I used to like wheeze my way through, and then I used to jump up and I used to grab the record, and I was so excited having this record, that nobody else had, because that time music was, played on the radio, and DJ was played on the radio, and the club DJs was only the ones who could have this specific song on vinyl. Like the locals, we couldn't get a hand, we couldn't buy it anywhere. So when I got this record, I was super excited, and it's like having a diamond in the rush. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then I would go back home, and then I would record it and stuff, and then Cleopatra's Tomb was a club in Cape Town that I DJ'd at a very young age too. And then what I did was I used to cycle a lot. I used to bike a lot. I used to cycle. It was about 2 hours to Athlone to Rylands, where there's other place called Rented Disc, and they used to rent out music. So what I would do is cycle there, would rent the album, the record, and I would go home. I would record it on cassette. Then from that, once I recorded on cassette, I would then cycle like crazy on a Saturday to make the matinee from 1 p.m. And it would go until 7 p.m. And that time we were very, very close friends, DJ Fast Eddie. He was there, and that's how we got connected. But once I got to Cleopatra's Tomb, I had these records that nobody else was really playing, or nobody could get a hold of, because you know, I was buying ragtime and renting music and put it in my haversack, from my school haversack, and just cycle up, and then people go crazy. The kids were going nuts because I was the only one who had these tracks.
How far was it for you to cycle?
You know what? From my home to, this was in Weinberg, I would say it's about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half maybe.
Yep.
So to cycle, and then I would play, and after my matinee is done, which is around 4 or 5 maybe.
Yep.
Spinning with DJ Fast Eddie, I would then leave there and then cycle back home and a quick change, and then cycle way back to Rent a Disc to drop the records off, because if I didn't drop them off, I get dinged big time for late charges. So it was the Amazing Race.
You can't afford that at that time.
And I couldn't afford that. So that was the thing, you know, like, if you want it, you got to go for it. It's going to take quite a bit of cycling, and then once you have it, you know, you drop it, and it makes people so happy and makes them go crazy. And I kept doing that. I just kept going back. If it was Saturday, I would always have these, but it was a lot of work.
Well, we'll get into it later about how things are so easy today, but you know, you have a group that hears a track and they can only hear it from, you know, either going out to these shows or on the radio, and you're bringing the music to them. And for all the kids that are listening to this that are complaining about walking 10 minutes home from school, yes, it was true that back in the day we went 2 hours, 1 hour, uphill both ways, as my parents used to tell me, to get what we needed to get done.
Yeah, you did whatever you needed to do.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be crying about these things, because you know, it is what it is, and you know what, if you need to get from A to B. That time there was no school buses or anything. You know what? You need to walk. And, you know, same in South Africa is, you know, mommy's not gonna pick you up, daddy's not gonna pick you up. You just need to get from A to B.
You gotta hustle.
And you need to do what you had to do.
Absolutely. Now thank you for that. There's the start, back in Cape Town, South Africa.
Yep.
When did we get you? When did you come over to Canada?
So after, Cleopatra's Tomb, a DJ there, and after that was very, very quickly, 1989, my parents and I and the family, and I was the kind of the instigator. I said, you know what, I kind of wanted to spread my wings and travel, and I wanted always the best music, and I said, you know what, if you go to America, you get really cool tunes, tracks, you know, and you can get the house, you know, and you get some amazing music. But I was always that way inclined to try and spread my wings and try and do a little bit of, I wanted to see what it's like on the other side. So I kind of pushed the button on my mom a little bit, and then I got the family involved, and the next thing you know, my dad applied, and he got first refused, and then afterwards we got accepted to come to Canada, not knowing what's on the other side. You know, coming here to Toronto, I remember, you know, the first 2 years I didn't know anybody. I was by myself, and cafeteria most of the time, but it was through my music.
Yep.
Then I started just checking out these bars and stuff, and I started knocking on a few bars. First bar I remember that I played was Tweeds. at Sussex Centre,
Yeah.
Mississauga. And then from, when I was there, like, started for 2 days a week, then 3 days. Gosh, and then I started building. So people just wanted to come out and see me. I used to have lineups outside. And then, it was just one thing led to the next. I started meeting all these cool people, making these connections. And then from Tweeds, I went on to Dick's. Then I went to Fox and the Fiddle. And then, in Toronto too, I DJ'd in Peter and Marty's back in Toronto, where I was a video DJ. So I was, that time, Much Music was into, and they were playing all these videos, so that's their theme, was a kind of a video dance party. I was putting in VHS cassettes, Betamax cassettes, one or the other, and mixing the two from one VHS play to Betamax, and had all these video cassettes. And that was Peter and Marty's, and I just, in my thoughts right now, I'm like, wow. And that's
I'm trying to think too, because you came over in '89, and I remember, the two CDs at the time that were coming out through Much Music were the Dance Mix,
yep,
and Big Shiny Tunes.
Yes.
And it was one or the other were in
the go-tos.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what the go-tos.
Absolutely.
You go to a house party or whatever, man. Big Shiny Tunes.
Yep.
And the Much Music compilations. You drop those CDs on, and the party was set. That's all they did was press play, because every song in there was fantastic.
You mentioned, to go back a little bit, DJ Fast Eddie.
Yeah.
Who is this fine gentleman, and how do you influence you?
Okay, so Fast Eddie, he basically, first I got to meet Fast Eddie through my traveling adventures with my bicycle, and then at Cleopatra's too.
Some adventures, not all DJing. That's a whole other interview.
That's funny. With Eddie, going to Cleopatra's tomb, I would say it's kind of a mentor in a way, because, when I got there with all my records, and we were spinning together, and we kind of learned quite a bit from Eddie. This guy, he just same like me, he just loves music, and he just loves making people happy on the dance floor. The thing about Cape Town in South Africa, the DJ itself, they are so humble, and they're so, from humble beginning, they're so good at what they do. They're more on the microphone. They take you on a bit of a journey, and they tell you a story when they're on the microphone. He's like, hey, get up, everybody, put your hands up in the air. And they'll just take you to that next level, which I find so unique. Not a lot of DJs do that. I always think of us as a family, just a few of us, because it's like we come from the stars, from the sky, and so it's just a few of us that's got this amazing talent of just DJing.
How did Andre Stewart work into this family mix?
Andre was my very good neighbor and friend, and when I was a kid, my neighbors, they used to come over quite often. And when Andre came over, I had my turntables and my cassette decks. And it's another thing I was going to tell you about cassette decks. Like Raul and I, like what we did back in the day as pioneer DJs, we used to open up the lids from both the tape decks, and we used to take the motor, and we used to invert this motor, and then we used to put the Phillips screwdriver, drill a hole, Phillips screwdriver in the middle, and for us to kind of mix, we ended up using the screwdrivers to do our pitch control, so we could blend the music from one to the other and continuous beat mix. So that's, pioneer DJs, that's exactly what we were.
Absolutely.
But coming back to Andre, that's where Andre was, and so he got in right at the cuff when we were just starting for me to spread my wings. And then one day, it was a track I was playing in my bedroom on record, and I was playing a Nitro Deluxe, and the song went ding 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 ding, and that, he would walking by, and he's like, what is that? And he's like, Jules, what is that? And then I was DJing, and that time I never had no headphones, but to beat mix I was just using my finger with the Technics 1200s, and one from the other. And I told him, this is the way you do it. You know, just to go from one to the other, you just use your finger, and just to learn on how to transfer from one to the other. And again, the tape decks, that was just something.
And he's watching all this.
Yeah,
as
it
a
was
neighbor.
just something it just kind of happened so organically. It was just like, it just happened so magically. It was a night we had an issue, we had a problem. We didn't know how to mix from one to the other. We never had money, so it's just, how do we keep the dance floor full without dead air?
Yeah.
So we had to figure it out. Okay, lunchbox mixer, and then 2 tape decks with inverted motors, 2 screwdrivers. One flips one way, one flips the other way. Beat match it. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. And Andre's a well-known DJ
And
now.
Andre's, yeah, he's really up there now, and you know, and he keeps calling me out, and I'm really blessed on that. He keeps saying, DJ Jules, you.
Was there? You keep saying the beat. Is there an instrument that gave you that beat? Was there anything you ever picked up, or did you just go right into DJing?
One of my favorite instruments, and I still have it today after almost over 30 years, is my tambourine. Just love the tambourine. Kids, if you ever want to play tambourine, pick it up. It's a good way for you to learn the beat mix. So my tambourine, I've taken all my gigs. I take my tambourine with me. It's a white tambourine, and I love the tambourine because no matter through the highs and the lows, no matter what track you're playing, you can always have it in the back, and it's going to go, and it would just resonate so well with house music or lounge or even jazz, or you know, you can blend it in quite well, and it's just that little bit of something in the back end. So yeah, my tambourine is my go-to.
Well, it's always the I know my parents, you know, or the aunts, uncles you're around, when they started playing, they'd always give you a percussion instrument.
Yeah.
They'd always give you something to beat. You'd have the
You know, if you
merengues, you'd have
merengues, or even a cowbell. You know, they used to have a cowbell back in the day.
Oh yeah,
They used to do the
absolutely.
cowbell, and
More
used to
cowbell.
Yeah, they used to just pound the cowbell, and it's just, you know, get some crazy sounds out of the cowbell.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And you know what was popular was just like, you know, if you get a football whistle, right?
Yeah.
Or
Referee whistle.
referee whistle. So during your break, you know, they will just, the DJ last week just blow the whistle, and you know, through the high point they will just blow it, and people will just
add to it.
Add to the whole
Yeah,
ambience of the whole thing.
builds.
Just takes them to the, just blows it out of the water.
Did you? It's funny. We had some girls passing us here, and starts to. You know, I have 2 boys, as you know, and it seems everyone wants to be a DJ now. Everyone has a phone. They have a Bluetooth speaker. They have a laptop. They go out. You know, house parties, or now they're getting into bigger gatherings, and there's so many playlists out there, and everyone's a DJ.
Yeah.
You know, they put through a song, and they put through a list, and they play it. What is the difference in your eyes between, you know, what you've, you know, helped pioneer in actual DJing and what's going on now?
You know, music, it's a universal language, and it's, you know what, it brings people together. These days, you know, these kids, they go out, you know, they all want to be DJs. Gosh, everybody got lawyers, doctors, they all want to be DJs. Kids want to be a DJ too. So what they do is they'll get an iPad or use their phone or a laptop, and they get a controller, mixing board. You know, you press play, you got a playlist, all syncs it for you. Gosh, computer does it all for you. Looks like artificial intelligence is now here, that remembers exactly what you played before, what you're going to be playing forward. So we're at the point now where, you know, the DJ has become, you know, I don't per se that as more DJing, because you got to play from the heart. And as a good professional DJ, you got to read your crowd and play from the heart. Every song that you play is going to make people smile. And also, you know what, I did a gig on New Year's Eve. I was pulling stuff out of the crates from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. It's like a big stew. You got all these different ingredients in a nice stew, and you got all this magic coming out of a beautiful stew, a pot. And and that's exactly what it is. Every song you throw in, you've got all these spice flavors coming out, and mixing one to the other, and making people smile on the dance floor. That's where it's at as a good DJ, reading the crowd. Gosh, these days you've got people coming from all corners of the planet. You've got people coming Polish, you've got Portuguese, you've got Punjabi, you've got Pakistanians, you've got people from Iranians, you've got Greece, you've got you name it, and all in one space celebrating music. So as a good DJ, you would make the effort, you would learn their tongue, as they say. You would learn their music, and then what you do is you will capture that, and you'll take that and you'll add it to your next events. This way it broadens your horizon, and also you learn from what their tongue is, and what their kind of music is. I mean, it's so amazing where we are now. Those days I'll be like looking for that track in my record. I have like 4 or 5, maybe up to 10 crates of records, and I'm trying to find that one track to throw that next soca song down, or otherwise that next
special sauce,
that next Latin flavor down.
Yeah.
Now I just press a button, search, press, boom, off you go. So for the convenience sake, that's amazing. But for the DJ side, a lot of that's been taken away. But you still need somebody to read a crowd, and you still need somebody to feel the music, and make them happy, and take them on a bit of a trip, make them happy.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that I find is lost now, because it's just too easy.
When you have different age groups as well.
Yeah, and you
have all these different backgrounds, different age groups.
Yeah,
and these are important events. Like if it's a wedding,
it's a wedding,
big anniversary,
corporate event,
milestones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a DJ, what we call them fly-by nights. They come, they stick around for a little bit, and then growing up as hard as it is, but as the years pass by, they kind of give up. Like, I've been there, tried it, and it's so easy now, especially on your phone. You've got unlimited supplies of music through streaming, so they get bored.
Yes.
So they become bored. What I like, for me as a professional disc jockey now, what I really like where we are now is that because I've gone through the stages, and I've learned all these different songs and techniques, from audio to video to now blending music and all stuff. What technology is actually doing for me is basically furthering my knowledge and making me learn the visual aspect. Not just saying I'm going to be a video producer, but it's actually pushing me to learn about the internet. It's teaching me about the internet. It's teaching me about websites. It's teaching me about programs, on what this program does or what that program does, and the video aspect. Everything for me, I think it's going all virtual anyways. These days, people want to be inspired, so they have big screens and all virtual, and then you have a DJ kind of stuck at the back there. So he's, as the producer, he will produce the song, and then from the producing portion, you'd play that track at an event. But then the visual aspect of everything, like big screens and everything, that comes out, and that puts a smile on your face because it takes you on a bit of a trip.
Absolutely.
Now that can be applied to concerts as well, with you have big orchestra, and then the orchestra is standing at the back there, but you still have the DJ doing his beats, but then you have the visual aspect. So from drones going up into the sky, doing fireworks display, and then you have the big screen with all these different colors, bright pastel colors, and taking you through a journey.
You got the lasers going.
Got the lasers,
going,
and it takes you on a bit of a trip. And I really like that, because that's where we are now, and it's taking you just like having, guests on the dance floor, me having a one-on-one chat with with people on the dance floor. For me, this actually puts that dream, that perspective into place, because you know what, it's like a setting right there, right? It's like this could be a big huge screen at the back here, right? And then you have the DJ spinning some cool loungy house tracks.
Absolutely.
Right? So you actually feel like you're actually in the visual aspect of where you are. All right? I don't per se have to be in South Africa right now. Right?
But music puts you anywhere you want to be.
So from
that's
the
a happy
visual,
place.
I can say, you know what? I'm in South Africa, but guess what? I've got this background here, and this is amazing, right? But I'm DJing. How cool is that? So you're in South Africa, you know, you got the snow coming down on the screen, and you got the DJ sitting up front end, and he's spinning the tunes. And that's what it's all. That's where we are. This is exactly where we are.
And that's, I think, if I'm planning a special event, I think you want to sit down and you want to make sure the person's listening. I think they want to, you know, have you hear what their dream is, what their vision is. The best to me with anything that I've done in my history is when someone takes their expertise, and my bar was set here, and just blows the roof off of things you never even thought of. And, you know, being married men, happy almost 25th anniversary, by the way. Shout out to Emma. And Chrissy, of course, for myself. It's them. All of a sudden, you're bringing something to the table that you didn't have before, to a wedding, to an anniversary that
it's
just makes it more special.
It's something new. It's something completely new. We're in a different time. From where it all started. So it's getting to the point of the full circle, where it started, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, DJs, 70s, 80s. So now it's making the full circle, I think. We're almost there, of our transition into the cyber world, like the Matrix. You know, it's making its full circle. We're almost there, where, you know what, we could possibly be, you know, in the cyber world, and you know, doing this crazy effects. You don't even have to be there in person, but you'll be able to see it in reality.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But you're still, what I love about it is you're still bringing the family, you're still bringing the connection with everyone together. So that it's not I mean, people have their own experiences, but, you know, to me, the best dance parties I've ever been to, because of course we love to dance, is the ones where everyone's connected. Everyone is just enjoying this
and there's no price on something. There's no price on that. There's no price on that at all, because you know what, when your hands are in the air and you know what, the beat drops and you're dancing away, it's freedom. It's freedom. You're in your own zone. You're in your own little world, you know, and there's no sadness, there's no nothing. There's just you and the music, and you're dancing, and your spirits are up. And then the DJ, when he drops the next track, it's like, you know, it's kind of it takes you a little bit slow, a little quiet, but then the next thing, you know, starts building, and then it drops, and the beat drops, and when you see those hands in the air, and they're the happiest people on the planet, you've done your job.
I must admit, you know, it's easy to get the younger crowd to get their hands in the air because of the energy. There's nothing more satisfying than we had my Aunt May's 90th that you were DJing, and she's in a wheelchair and she's leading a Congo line around and she's got her hands up in the air. You know what I mean? And it blends everything together. Is there a DJ of today that kind of does that for you?
Definitely. I mean, you know what, I'm not sure, but I should call these guys producers more than anything else, just DJs, because I mean, the DJ still, for me, it's a lot of it's hands-on, mixing one from the other, you know, and you know, it's very professional in that way. But I call them producers, and one of my favorite is definitely, I mean, it's David Guetta, but Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris, I think he's amazing. He's such a a good DJ, producer, you know, and he creates these you know, really good house tracks, deep house. You know, he's come out with his new trance track right now, two songs. Love to see the guy live, actually. And he's kind of bringing back the 90s, you know, like Firestarter stuff. So he's on that journey now, but he's adding the visuals. He's adding visuals to his music, which I was just explaining to you, because that's where it's at. So you know, he's adding the big bright white colors, or the big pastel colors. You know, it's like having a big paint party, you know. You're throwing all these different
Tremendous
colors,
set up,
and that's all visual. So that's being creative. That's where it's at. Another good favorite DJ of mine is called Joey Negro. Joey Negro is also from the UK, and gosh, the guy, what he does is he takes the old 70s tracks and stuff, and he remixes them, and he puts his own spin on them. And he remixes them, you know, and stuff like just good funk, good soul house. And there again, you know, and then it just kind of drops one to the other, and it takes you to a time in the 70s where you could relate to, you know, like maybe Diana Ross song, Upside Down, You Turn Me, but he puts a spin on that, and he puts a funk beat in that. You know, like, oh my God, I didn't know that.
So creative.
Yeah, yeah. So that type of things are big, but those are my go-tos right now. I'll listen to Joey Negro, David Guetta for sure, Calvin Harris, those three. Dead Mouse is in our own backyard here in Milton.
Right over here.
He lives up the street here. Dead Mouse is also really good, and I remember taking. I was DJing. I went back to Cape Town about 2 years ago, and Fast Eddie, and he was spinning at one of the nightclubs there, and I took the CD. I took a CD of Dead Mouse, and he invited me to spend the afternoon at one of the matinees at one of the clubs, and I dropped, and I said, buddy, you gotta listen to this. This is one of our own DJs in the backyard here. I said, this guy's amazing. So I threw Dead Mouse on, and this crowd was packed. You know, they listened to the same old. But when I dropped the Dead Mouse tracks, about 2 or 3, Sophie's Ladder, they were like, what is this? You see their faces, eh?
Oh,
everybody just, the whole crowd just went frozen. And, you know, he brought me on, and it was the first track I dropped, right? They don't know me. So I dropped that, and people just stood and they looked at him like, what is this guy playing? And the next thing you know, the beat, the rush came in. Oh, yeah. And then the beat dropped. They went nuts.
That's my go-to when I'm doing something like exercising that used to be fun, and now it's just like you have to do it. You know, we're getting up there.
Yeah, when you get up there,
and it just gets you into that mindset, and you just go.
You know, you got all the squeakiness going on now, and all the bells and whistles are not working like they used to before.
Oh my goodness!
So you have to get a little lubrication and get them all jived up again. But yeah, that's exactly where we are now.
Well, this I'll tell you, it brings us around, brings us full circle, and this is one of many. But really what we're talking about is a little bit of a biography of yourself, to get people to understand who DJ Jules is and what you're all about. But it is the journey. And there is an album that you have just dropped recently on SoundCloud, called The Journey. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So The Journey I started about 2 years ago. It's something I really wanted to do before my 50th, because I kind of felt that I've gone through the motions, I've gone through through the music era, then the decades, and I thought, I gotta, with all this new technology, I said, you know what, I'm gonna have some fun with this new technology, and I want to create something myself. So then I ended up making an album called The Journey, and this album is kind of deep house, loungy, and also it takes you on a journey, and it's got quite a few different flavors in there. It's got some African flavor, some Cuban flavor, and then also it's got one of the track that I was talking about earlier, I threw in and I kind of manipulated, which is ding 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 ding, which is not Nitro Deluxe. So I ended up putting that in the album. It's about 35 minutes long, but it's yeah, it takes you on a journey. It's a nice album to, gosh, if you're just going for hikes or going for cycling, which I love cycling. You press play, it's continuous, it's all produced and mixed by myself. But that was my first kind of attempt on this type of thing. It took a long time, bloody hell, to make. By learning the program, I actually took a course for those guys in Germany, and I just really wanted to learn and do it for myself, do something for myself, and I'm proud of doing it for myself, you know, and put it all together. But I was super stoked when I actually got it all done, and I'm like, this is it, done. On my 50th, and it was a week prior for my 50th, and I was just heading off to Thailand for my birthday, and I said, you know what, I said to my wife, did it. I was super stoked. I was the happiest guy on the planet, and I said, okay, here you go, out to the world, there you go, this is just a little of me, you know. And I had fun with it. I had lots of fun with it. Now that I know what I know, I'm just about almost ready now, I think, to get on the next album, and try and create the next one.
When you can find time.
When I can find time. Gosh, there's so much I want to do in my life. There's so much, you know what, and time is so important. You know, I want to do everything, but, you know, just time.
Absolutely.
But I, you know, just for me, just try and focus on the passion. If I find a gap, you know, that's, you know, definitely I'm gonna start doing something more like that. You know, yeah, it's really proud of that.
Well, it's nice, you know, and I appreciate you sharing with us. I appreciate your friendship. You know, we're lucky to have 35 plus years of musical experience and talent at all of our private parties, and certainly a lot of functions that we've all had.
Yeah.
The journey for me is just beginning with you. You know, it's such a...
Yeah, we've known each other, what, like 9 years, 10 years?
Yeah, yeah, really. You know what I mean? Almost a decade, my goodness. It's like just yesterday, you know, we met each other, but it's been so enjoyable, and, you know, you're close to us, you're a good friend. And
you guys are family to me.
Absolutely.
So, and I always said, everything happens for a reason. The connections in life that you could be you're passing through life, your journey, you know, everything has a meaning. Everything that happens is supposed to happen. When things go sideways, meaning it's supposed to go sideways, means you have to pull your sails in a different direction. Yeah, so everything in life happens for a reason, and this is one of this amazing reason right here.
Well, I know how to find you, and I'm not giving out his personal number, but tell everybody again how they can find you.
So, so RJMSounds.com, that's www.rjmsounds.com. I have some fun stuff over there. It's a brand new website I just created, and it gives a little bit of history and information about on where it all started and how it all began. Some information on pricing and stuff like that. And I do some great we do weddings, corporate, lots of social parties and anniversaries and stuff. Yeah, I love what I do. I am what I am. I like to take people to the next level, and I like to put my feet on the ground and reach for the stars and all that fun stuff. So I'm here, and my name is DJ Jules. I love you very much, and thank you for having me.
Jules, love you, bud. Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ciao. GoPro, stop recording.